Hello everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat here. I am here to talk to you about Bitcoin and Ethereum and also altcoins in general. I'm a little bit tired because I did like 9 videos for Danny's Patreon using his charts and mine, looking through a bunch of stocks and actually saw some pretty interesting on Tesla. But hey, if you want to watch those videos, please feel free to consider joining his Patreon to get access to these videos that I did for him and I do for him every weekend. And I also had a collaboration with Luca again, talking about the overall market, macro, Coinbase, and also the cryptocurrency market in general. So feel free to check that out whenever it gets released. Probably going to be maybe early this week when it comes around. I digress. Let's look at Bitcoin here. What you're seeing here is a weekly chart for Bitcoin. This is called a Gann square. This is something that I lay on top of the price action, and I chose the lowest pivot point here for the cycle, which is around November 2022, whenever price was down in the 15,000 area. And when I input the appropriate numbers, you can see a very beautiful market symmetry is being represented here, where each one of these arc is a resistance, and whenever you get to the resistance, it spends some time underneath the arc here before breaking through. A lot of times you end up back testing the arc here before going up to the next level. Here you end up back testing the arc for about 2 months before breaking up above. Here, initially, a few weeks ago, I saw that the candle closed above this horizontal Gann level, and I thought, hey, are we going to just end up mooning from here? No, it ended up just hugging that horizontal Gann level. It just ends up hugging it for weeks. We end up having a breakdown last week, and this week we end up touching the angle. I thought we were going to touch that last week. We didn't. This week we end up touching the angle over here. And it's been holding extremely well. It's been range bound between the horizontal Gann up level over here at an angle and down level over here. Having consolidation is not a bad thing in the context of the fact that Ethereum has been going up like crazy this week and this weekend. And I theorized before the weekend started that I think Bitcoin's hitting resistance, and it's not a bad thing if Bitcoin is taking a breather and allowing altcoins to actually catch up for the first time for a very long time. And that's kind of what it's looking like it's doing right now. Now, I don't really think that Bitcoin is bearish here. I think that Bitcoin is just consolidating sideways over here and doing its necessary cool down. Now, a lot of people are going to talk about the bearish divergence where Bitcoin's been going up for the entire year and a half, with RSI going down. This is a classic bearish divergence. The way I see it, I've seen a lot of stocks in crypto gone up with bearish divergence all the time. Palantir just did. Palantir just broke this trend line over here and just went up a lot higher. Bitcoin, it would be nice to see this trend line over here being broken to negate the bearish divergence so that it can keep going a lot higher. There's no rule that says that a parabolic move can't happen, and during this part of the cycle, there's no rule that says that bearish divergence has to get resolved right away. With that said, we're stuck underneath here and at resistance, and it's doing the necessary cool down. The other thing too, to make me feel that I don't think Bitcoin is over, is because if you're looking at the Ichimoku here on the weekly, it's still holding the Tenkan here as support. If you look at Ichimoku here on the monthly, it is still holding the Tenkan here, the bull line here as support. Whenever you have price dipping down underneath the Tenkan, that's when I start to really get worried that the bull market's over. Whenever things start dipping down underneath the Tenkan, that's when I really worry when bull market is over. We're not seeing that here. It's above the Tenkan, and the Tenkan is possibly rising as support down below. If you're looking at the Bollinger Band here, you can see how price basically for Bitcoin did nothing over the last 20 months. I wouldn't say nothing, it went up a little bit, but it ends up having a Bollinger Band contraction because of that. And the contraction seemed to be decelerating. You can see how initially it was shooting up like that, now it's decelerating over here. Kind of reminds me of the move over here. It was going up and then it kind of decelerated over here before this parabolic move on the way up here. I think Bitcoin is getting ready for its parabolic move, but it's just causing a little bit of rotation to Ethereum. I'm going to show you here Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum chart here a little bit, but that's what it looks like it's doing for me. If that's the case, then I think you're going to get some boom, boom, boom candle here with Bitcoin fairly soon. This is a monthly Gann chart, and it has been showing some extremely beautiful market symmetry. So I'm just going to pull this up here and look at it. What you're seeing here is basically it hits all these different arc here, break through the arc, you backtest it, rejected an arc, break through arc, backtested over here for almost a year, went to the next arc here, rejected, came back, backtested for about half a year. The next natural level is going to be this horizontal Gann level here around 200,000, and the next level up there above that is going to be anywhere up here around 500 to 600 to 700,000, depending on where on this arc it ends up landing, and that's what this market symmetry is showing me. Now, if I also look at the global liquidity index here, you can see that we had just broken out of this resistance zone of global liquidity, and we have backtested global liquidity. It looks like it's going higher. Whenever you have that going, that's when the parabolic bull phase happens, but it happens usually after the breakout of global liquidity happens for quite some time before you actually end up having the parabolic bull phase. Here, same thing, right? Horizontal resistance, global liquidity, breakout back test here. It got up here, but the parabolic bull phase happened later on. So right now, I think we're getting ready for that based on where we are with the global liquidity cycle. Potentially. None of these things are set in stone, but Bitcoin is still looking fine. Looking at Bitcoin dominance. Now, Bitcoin dominance is a way to look at rotation. It's a way to look at see whether or not we have any risk on sentiment. Bitcoin dominance typically drops during the parabolic bull phase of Bitcoin because it also tends to rotate out. There's a lot of liquidity being flushed around. It also tends to rotate out a little bit more further out to altcoins. A lot of altcoins starts to take some percentages of the overall cryptocurrency market cap. And Bitcoin dominance is just basically Bitcoin's percentage of the entire cryptocurrency market cap is Bitcoin. Right now it's closer to about 60%. We've had gone up as far up as 66% recently, and that was the 0.786 FIP here, and we ended up getting rejected. And we ended up coming back down here to the 0.618. Initially was holding last month. This month, we're starting to kind of break down underneath below that. The monthly candle hasn't closed yet, so I can't say for sure. But if we end up breaking down underneath the 0.618 over here, then you can have further plummeting of the Bitcoin dominance here, which would further facilitate the rotation from Bitcoin to altcoin. And Bitcoin can still go up, but altcoins can just go up further. Now, on the flip side of the coin, we can look at Ethereum dominance, which seemed like a joke just a few months ago because Ethereum at some point was 7% of the cryptocurrency market cap just a few months ago. Right now it's bounced back up to 13% and a little bit more. It basically plummeted down the parabolic move downwards, and it hits this horizontal zone at the bottom over here where it had previously hit before. It had a very, very good reaction. And right now, if you look at the weekly, the character has changed from a parabolic move downwards here to higher highs and higher lows. What you're also seeing here, if I pull the Ichimoku cloud over here, is that it has entered the Ichimoku cloud here. It looks like it wants to break through or at least break in to change the character of this entire bear trend over here. With Ethereum gaining strength, the price of Ethereum is also looking better. Looking at this chart here that I've drawn for quite some time, initially I have some angry faces underneath when you have this breakdown, this trend line over here, and the liquidity graph down there below. I had an angry face down there. Here, and here. Every single cycle is the same thing, but every cycle seemed to be a little bit longer than the last one because global liquidity also seems to be lasting a little bit longer compared to the last one here. You can see here, you have a little bit of a resistance here, breakthrough, boom, right here. The resistance lasts a little bit longer. Here's maybe about close to 2 years. Breakout, boom, right here. The liquidity resistance is lasting for at least 2.5 years, if not a little bit longer. So the cycle is a little bit longer. Liquidity grab, liquidity grab, liquidity grab. Afterwards, break back above, moon, break back above moon. It had a little bit of trouble breaking back above here initially, but broke back above. Who knows what's going to happen next, right? I don't know the answer to that, but I lean bullish. If you're also looking at the monthly chart here, and if I overlay the chart here with some fib levels that you can appreciate here, currently the price is the highest that it has ever been for the entire cycle. It's not higher than the previous all-time high, which is $4,868. It's not quite that high, but it's pretty close to it. And it's the highest that the cycle has ever been. It is above the 0.86. Now, if this weekly candle here, we have not had a weekly candle that really truly closed above the 0.86 since the all-time high. If this candle over here closes in 24 hours above the 0.86, then it increases the possibility of Ethereum pushing above all-time high and get to some of these higher levels above. We need to see this close above that. Now, it's not just the weekly, you also want the monthly to close above the 0.86. The month is still young. You still have another couple weeks before the month is over, but you end up having the monthly candle close above the 0.86 in conjunction of having a Bollinger Band expansion here on the monthly, which is happening right now, by the way. Even the low Bollinger Band looks like it is downward sloping here a little bit. This stuff happens with Bollinger Band expansion on the monthly. This stuff happens usually before the parabolic bull phase of Ethereum happens. Here, this is the Bollinger Band expansion to the upside and downside. Here, we just simply had a Bollinger Band squeeze here for a very, very long time. And if we are truly to have a parabolic move, it is certainly a sign that the Bollinger Band expansion could be one thing that could precede a parabolic move for Ethereum on the way up. And this is what I'm seeing here so far. With that said, I also don't think this is limited to just Ethereum, because if you look at a chart here called Total 3, which is the total cryptocurrency market cap, excluding Bitcoin and excluding Ethereum, so this is really looking at altcoins overall. That has also broken above the 0.886 last month, and because of this break, it favors further bullish continuation. You have a Bollinger Band expansion here to the upside, not much to the downside yet, but overall, this is a bullish look, because if I get rid of these fib levels, you can see how the 20-month moving average has just been upsloping, serving as support to push price up higher. If I pull up the Ichimoku, you can see how the rising tenkan over here is serving as support. This is a bullish chart. If you don't use any indicators and just look at this, it's a cup and handle and a cup and another handle, and we're about to break above the previous all-time high zone and make some all-time highs. This is not a bearish look to the overall cryptocurrency market cap. I can go into individual coins, but honestly, if Ethereum is going to go up a lot higher, then a lot of altcoins are going to go up a lot higher. I can talk about the specific ones. I did do a little bit of a video with Luca, and we talked about what kind of coins could be more favorable moving forward. It's going to be Solana coins. Is it going to be Doge coins? Is it going to be utility coins? Is it going to be meme coins? We talked a little bit about that. We're going to have further discussion on that. We're going to release that early next week. We are not going to make this easy because we have a sell order block right here. And we have low volume conditions. All I really want right now is not for Ethereum to moon. All I really want right now is to close about the 0.886 to reclaim some bullish territory so that it can keep doing what I think it would do given time and given increase in global liquidity that we're seeing here. I am bullish on Bitcoin. I am very bullish on Ethereum. And I am bullish on the overall cryptocurrency market cap as a whole. Is August typically is thought to be a seasonality weak month. Palantir has broken above all-time highs. Tesla is looking better. We'll see what the month of August brings us for Ethereum and Bitcoin moving forward. Thank you so much for listening to this video, guys. You guys have a great night. Bye.